Today, we will be talking about a hidden gem in the car world with this. This is the Range Rover SV autobiography, and it is one of the most surprising cars that you will ever expect from Range Rover. You're watching 10-Speed Auto. It's been a little minute, but let's get straight to it. Of course, you're gonna have the regular Range Rover business, the LED lights, the nice, reasonable sized grille, the lettering Range Rover on the hood. You do have an air duct in here that comes through to cool off the brakes. You have these nice flush door handles where you need your key, or you just press the button, pops right out for you to open the door. So getting into your VELAR, you do notice that when you open the door, it doesn't open that wide. Not only that, you do also notice that this pillar right here, it's a little too close. And by that, what I mean is it kind of makes it a little bit of a struggle, especially if you're a bigger person, to get in to the car. Not like it gets in the way of anything, but you do notice it. Alright, so in the back of the VELAR, same kind of situation, man. You know, the door doesn't open as wide. This pillar comes in a little bit too close, so it's a little bit narrow. And here's what I'm talking about. So, you know, and I'm only 5'10". I'm not huge. I'm not tall. I wish, but look at this. I'm sitting, normally and everything, and my knees are pressed up against the driver's seat. I mean, it's just, if I relax my legs, okay, but I mean, it's just not acceptable. This kind of space. Headroom is fine. I love they continued with the quality of the interior to the rear as well, with the beautiful stitching on the seats and everything. Air vents all around to stay cool. Weirdly enough, you don't get any shades back here for on the windows, but I mean, other than that, I mean, I cannot. This is unacceptable, and it's a little disappointing for this kind of car. Just to keep it a little short and narrow. The car isn't that wide, and it's not that long either, and you do kind of sense that with the cargo room in the back. It's not that deep. It's not that wide either, and it's not bad, but it's also not the best in its class. But on the bright side, who would I be to not let you at least listen to the glorious sound that this thing makes? Alright, so you might be wondering what in the heck powers this whole thing. So up front, we have a 5-liter supercharged V8 pushing out 550 horsepower, 502 pound-feet of torque, and with a top speed of about 170 miles an hour. 0 to 60, people say it's somewhere in around the 4 to 4.5 era. So we're going to check that out on our test drive. All right, so in the interior of the VELAR, this is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, there's not much that I can fault this interior for. I mean, it's just a perfect clash of leather. You got suede all along the ceiling of the car. Nice, sturdy materials. You know, everything you touch in here, it feels very solid. It feels very strong. And, you know, the build quality of everything is, I gotta admit, Range Rover did their thing with the interior. You have this nice carbon fiber all along the door panel. You have these beautiful speakers, the Meridian surround sound speakers, and it's just an overall beautiful interior. I mean, for the price tag that these things came out at, you know, back in the days, I mean, you're talking $100,000 and more for something like this. And I can definitely see where the money where the money goes to. You are paying, you know, you are paying what it's worth. And in my opinion, I believe it's worth every penny of that $100,000 and over that people may ask for these cars, because it's absolutely gorgeous. So when you're in your VELAR and you get it all started up and warmed up, you notice a couple things. So of course you have a digital gauge cluster right here. I have the GPS maps information right here. I got a heads-up display, and then of course, like I said, you have these two screens. It's fairly responsive. Might take a little second or two, but overall, it does the job, gets what you need it to do. So yeah, I mean, everything's pretty responsive. Everything down here is kind of where it might trick a couple people. It does get a little bit of getting used to. Of course, air conditioning and all that stuff. You want to go to climate, and then you do all the things that you needed to do. And check this out. So as you press the buttons, or say for example you don't press the buttons, this controls, of course, the temperature and all that stuff. What in the world? All right, so now if I want to put the climate down, I can put it down, and it takes away the passenger seats controls and stuff like that in order to do it. Seats, of course, there is heated and cooled seats. Works just by twisting the knob and putting the exactly what you want it to do. You do also have massage seats as well. And let's see. And yeah, you can have different settings for which position or which place you would desire your massage. And this is all the drive modes for the car. So of course you have your normal mode and your eco mode and whatnot, sport mode. You also have an active exhaust. It does it make a difference? Kind of not, just to be honest. So yeah. And I mean, just the interior quality alone, I mean, even the door handles feels very solid and you know, well thought of. The materials here is no question at all. The suede, and I mean, just all the materials that you're touching here just feels really good. So, you know, even the horn, you know what I mean? So we're gonna go ahead and drive it, and let's see what we think. All right, driving the Range Rover. I gotta admit, that's a small backup camera. All right, let's not waste anybody's time. All right, let's do it. Wow. And the shifts are fast too. Jeez. Wow. I can't even talk. Oh. Alright. I need to speak. So this is an 8-speed automatic transmission that's under here. And like I said, this thing's pushing out 5 550 horsepower and 502 pound-feet of torque. So, yeah, this thing pushes out a lot of power. And for a car that weighs about 4,500 pounds, it manages its weight really well. It puts you in the back of your seat, and after that it just takes off, and the shifts are very quick. It's actually very surprising, and it's crazy that this is all from a Range Rover. And little fun fact: Range Rover is owned by an Indian car company called Tata. So they know what they're doing with this thing, man. This is incredible. All right, so let's put it in comfort mode. All right, and let's just drive it for what it is. All right, so we just put everything in comfort mode. So the engine, the gear shifts, the steering, the suspension, everything's in comfort mode. And I can tell the difference. I'll tell you that I can tell the difference, but it still feels a little bit stiff. It feels a little bit, I mean, I understand it's a performance car and all that stuff, but, you know, it is still a little bit stiff on the ride. It's a little harsh on the ride. It's not too harsh where it's unbearable, but it's to that point where it's noticeable. All right, I kind of want to hear this. Damn, that is stiff. Hey man, this Range Rover is badass. Wow. Quality of the ride, the visibility, you know, I could see, you know, very clearly of everything around me. The position, the driving position's perfect. I mean, there's absolutely nothing else wrong I can say. And then when you have everything else dialed in and set up, brakes feels responsive. Gosh. It feels very responsive. You know, it feels almost like a supercar. And I mean, when you're paying this kind of price for something like this, damn it, it better be a supercar, an SUV supercar.